Hey gamers, this is Liz Davidson Beyond Solitaire, and today I just want to give you a quick overview of Fliptown. This is a flip and write from Steven Aramini, and it's got, as you can see, a nice little Wild West theme. I'm going to give you a very quick overview of the game, play one round of it, and then hopefully that will help you decide whether the game is for you and get you started. So this is the basic solo mode for Fliptown. I'm going to show you a couple of extras after I do this little demo. But the main thing you need to know is that, in the Wild West, they like to play cards. And this game is heavily inspired by card suits, and there's a poker hand, and you're doing a bunch of Wild West stuff with this deck of cards as your anchor. But the most important thing, the anchor of the deck, is that every turn you're going to draw 3 cards from this deck, and then you're going to use 1 for the suit, which determines where you're able to go and take your action. You're going to use 1 card for the value, so within the action that you take, the value is going to determine what you're able to do. And then the last card is going to go into your poker hand, which will get you some scoring at the end of the round if you manage to, put together a good poker hand, which I never do. So let's get to playing, and then I'm going to explain in context what I'm doing and what my options are. So in a round of play, the first thing you're going to do is shuffle the deck. This one's already been shuffled, so we're just going to put it right here. The next thing we're going to do is draw what's called a sheriff card. So at the end of every round, a sheriff is going to see if he can make an arrest. We're going to gather some wanted symbols over here as we do things in the game. And if our wanted gets too high, the sheriff might arrest us, which has some nasty consequences. We would really prefer not to have that happen. But here's our sheriff card. We don't know what it is. It's just going to hang out. And then phase 3 of the round is take 5 turns. So we're going to take those 5 turns. I'll clear up the round, and then hopefully you'll basically know how to play. So for every turn, we're going to draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here are some very nice options for us. We've got 2 diamond cards and clubs. We have an ace, a 10, and a 4. So how do I want to use this stuff? Let's think it out. So as I mentioned, one of these cards is going to go to my poker hand. One of these is going to be taken for its value, and one of these is going to be used for its suit. Let's go ahead and say that I'm just putting the ace as my poker card, and I will go ahead and mark that here. Maybe I can get a really nice poker hand this time, like I totally have before. But let's look at these 2. So basically, I have 2 options with these 2 cards now that I've decided to eliminate this one from consideration. One is that I can go to the town using the 4 suit for clubs, and then use the 10 to determine which building here I'm able to visit. The other option is that I can go to the mine, which requires the diamond suit, and then I can use the 4 on my club card to do this ace to 7 option here on the mine. So I do think that is what I'm going to do. So I would like to take the 10 as my suit card and the 4 as my value card, meaning we go to the mines. So I'm going to talk that through, and then I'm going to talk through what would have happened if I'd done it the other way. So you can see 2 different types of action. So going to the mine is actually pretty nice because you get stuff for it. So I'm going to come here to the mine. At some point I could try to pick up a pickaxe, which gives me some more flexibility within the mine, which would be really nice, but we'll worry about that another time. But here I have ace to 7 and then 8 to king. So because I'm using 4 as my value card, I have to circle this option. But if I want to come back later and do this one, I can do it with a higher value card. Alternatively, I can keep going down the mine to try to get deeper rewards. Let's make sure you can see those numbers. So one thing to note about the mine is that, yeah, you get rewards as you go down. You can also get wanted if you start moving down really deep. But if you come all the way down, you get these silver star in-game scoring options, and you might want to try to build towards those depending on what you're doing a lot of in a particular game. For now, though, I've just circled this one. That means I'm going to get 1 gold. And actually, I should have given myself some starting gold and cash, so let's correct that now. So I should have started with 4 cash and 2 gold. So I'm up to 4 cash and 3 gold thanks to the mine. And then I'm also going to circle a hammer. And that's going to give me some income for the next round. So the gold and the cash are both important resources to use in the game. Cash lets you do things like buy items and land, which are some interesting options in gameplay. But the gold is really important in terms of the card draw and manipulating what you've gotten off of the deck. So for example, here you can use gold. You can spend 2 gold to modify the suit of a card to the suit of choice. So if you really want to do an action in one of these areas, but the cards aren't giving it to you, you can spend your way out of that problem. You can also use gold to modify a value card plus or minus 1 per gold spent. So you can really make anything to anything if you're willing to spend enough gold. And so if there's an action that really needs to happen and it's not coming up naturally, you do have options in the game. But hey, that's a whole first turn. We've done it. We've put a card in our poker hand and we've chosen our suit to come to the mine and we've used our value to go right here with the 4. If I decided to do it the other way before we take another turn, I could have decided to come to the town instead and then use the 10. So the town is interesting because it's got a bunch of different buildings that you're able to go to depending on the value of the card. And actually it might have been a good play to keep this ace in play because I do enjoy being able to get an ace suit card in the town, but we'll worry about that another time. Basically this building, if you do have a club as your suit, but then you play an ace as your value, you can reduce wanted in the cemetery, which we'll talk about in a moment. But each of these buildings does something different. Some of them let you get new tools. Some of them let you pay in for gold. Some of them let you buy land, and then there's like a little polyominoes game in the middle of the main game that you can play. You can get different weapons to help you increase the value of some of your actions. There's some end-game scoring bonuses. Basically, this is a grab bag of things that are fun to do. If I'd taken a 10, I would have chosen an outlaw, which basically means that I would be hoping for this card to come up, and then I would get some scoring bonuses off of that happening. But let's go ahead and go on to our next turn. Draw 3 more cards. A king of clubs, a 9 of clubs, a king of diamonds. Okay, well, I don't really think I'm going to pull off a royal flush, but we are going to go ahead and put the king in the poker hand just because that is what I want to do. So let's go ahead and have a king of diamonds here. Because why not go big, right? So that'll be our poker card. We won't discard it just yet. Let's be neat. And then I have both clubs. I could change the suit if I wanted to, which I might do just because this is a demonstration round and not like a actual play. The other option that I do have is obviously clubs would be my suit. I can either come here and pay gold for stars, but I don't want to do that right now. Or I can take the king for the suit and the 9 for the value. If I come to the 9 building, it does let me get a pistol, which gives me a +2 to my card results in the Badlands, which actually seems pretty nice. It would also give me a bonus heart action, so I can show you how bonus actions work. So that may actually be what we do. So let's go ahead and take the king for our suit. Let's take the 9 for our action. Because this is going to let me show off the hearts on the trail as well. All right, so first I'm going to go ahead and buy a pistol. If I come here a second time, I can upgrade to a rifle. But for now, we're going to take this pistol. I'm going to spend my 3 money to have it. I also get a free heart action. So basically, I could take this using a suit action on a regular turn if the cards were going my way. But with a free heart action, I can take any action along the trail. So this is a good moment to talk about. So basically on the trail, when you do this with cards, you can take any action along the trail up to the value of the card. However, you can't ever go back on the trail. So the trail is like a game of there's really good bonuses up here, but if you take them too soon, you can't go back and get the previous bonuses. So you have to be careful about how far you want to advance up the trail, but then if you're too conservative, you don't get any of the really, really good bonuses. So you have to kind of think it through. So with the bonus for the trail, it says that I can advance on the trail to any trail stop of my choice and get the trail rewards as normal, but I will also skip and cross out anything that I jump over. So let's kind of think about that maybe. So just 2 points is good, but that's a little maybe too conservative for me. Income is always great, so that's always a temptation. Here I can come to the cemetery and get 1 star. Also pretty good, but things really start to get good once you hit like 5, because that's $12 and that is super fantastic. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and be conservative. I'm going to take the 2 here. That means I can never go back and get the ace reward. But this one lets you get either a gold or cash income in the income part of the round. And I want to make sure that I'm panning for gold. So I'm going to come over here and circle this so that I know I'm going to get more gold down the line off of my own income, because that just seems like a good idea. That was a one-time bonus action. If I come back here, I don't get to do it again. So I'll make sure that I cross it off. So that was my second turn of the round. Let's take a third one. All right. Okay. So now we have some different options. We can do a 6 value or a 4 value. And we've also got spades, clubs, and hearts as our options. So none of this is helping me over in the poker hand. Told you it wasn't going to work out. But let's think about the action we want to do, and we'll just toss the third card over the poker hand, which is what I usually do. So I think what I want to do, I've shown you the trail. I could play the 6 hearts as my suit and then just do another trail action up to either 4 or 6, depending on the value that I picked. But I really, really want to show you the Badlands, and I want to make sure that we do. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take the 4 as our card for the suit. So we're going to go down to the Badlands. I'm going to show you how it works. And then I am going to take either of these 6s. Let's just say it's the 6 of clubs, and we'll say the 6 of hearts is our poker card. Doesn't really matter for this purpose. We're going to go to the Badlands. So when you go to the Badlands, you go to each of these spaces one time in the game. So we're going to go try to steal a cow. It's a very wise choice, except that it totally isn't, but that's fine. All right, so when you decide to try to rob in the Badlands, if we succeed, I'm going to get 2 wanted, but I'm also going to get 4 points and $3, which is pretty darn good. If I'm unsuccessful, I still get the wanted. Boo. I get half of the stars, which isn't so bad, and then I get no cash, but I do still circle this. And so if you look over here on the right, you can see, how interesting. I could get bonus actions for circling all 3 of the attempted robberies on a given row. And that will work out whether or not I succeed. But let's see whether I can successfully steal this cow. So basically what's going to happen is I'm going to draw a card off the top of this deck as my robbery card. If it's equal to or greater than 6, then I successfully rob. If it is less than 6, then I will not be successful in my little adventure in crime. So let's see what I get. A 3. Of course it's a 3. All right, so I get 2 wanted. I get no money for this. Boo. But I do get 2 stars. So at least I got something. And that was the third turn of the round. One thing that's really nice is that you know the round's over when your poker hand is complete, which I think is the best in timing, because instead of having to think about it, I can just look and see if my poker hand is finished, which is fantastic. All right, so let's go ahead and pull 3 more cards. Okay, so now what do I want to do? I think what I want to do is come back up to the trail. So I'm going to go ahead and take this 8 as the suit so we can go to the trail. I'm going to take the 5, and we're just going to put the 7 of spades over in the poker hand. Not really doing hot on the poker hand, but doesn't matter. Does it? Does it? Of course it matters. I won't get any points. But we're going to go ahead and be greedy. We're going to go all the way up to 5 here on the trail. And we're going to take $12. Which I will gleefully spend later in the game. But that also means that I won't get any of these bonuses, and that's something that I'm just going to have to live with. And then we're going to take the final turn of the round, and I think this is a time, regardless of what I get, to go to the cemetery and talk about that. That way you've seen everything. But, you know, okay, I got a queen of hearts, I got a 10 of hearts, I got a 4 of diamonds. I'm just going to... Let's just say I'm going to put the queen over here in my poker hand. Something beautiful that never happened for me. Boo. But then, let's say that I don't really like this matchup. I don't feel like going to the mine, or I don't feel like going to the trail. I do have the option of either, again, spinning gold to try to change what's on my cards, or I can go over to the cemetery and just do something over here. So when you go to the cemetery, the middle tombstone is always circled, but then you can circle something adjacent, and then whatever is between them is the reward. So let's say that I'm going to come here and do a little painting for gold. So I'll get another gold income. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to have to take a wanted. However, if I want to stop getting in trouble for digging up graves in the cemetery, because, I mean, that is a little bit antisocial and weird, and like maybe we shouldn't do it, but we are definitely going to for the purpose of this game. If I want to like get a little less stigma for that, I can come over here and visit the Undertaker. So the first time I visit the Undertaker, I start to ignore Wanted in the Cemetery from that point on. The second time, I can come and get a shovel, which even lets me get points for coming to the cemetery. So if you want to go big on cemetery and the bonus actions there, then you definitely also want to come to the Undertaker and like pair those things up. So that was what I did. I've played a full round of the game. I've got a full poker hand. And now let's do like the next parts of the round so you know how a full round is played. So we played our turns, and now we're going to resolve our poker hand. I got nothing in this poker hand. So I would get some points, except that I don't deserve any points because I didn't do very well with the poker hand. Oops. So it is what it is. And phase 5 we're going to do is called pan and work. So we're going to pan for gold. I'm going to get 2 gold. And then over here, I get 2 cash per circled hammer. So I get 2 cash. So I've made some money. But now we're in the scary part of the round, which is where the sheriff attempts to arrest someone. So when I get to this part of the game, I have a couple of options, one of which is to attempt to bribe the sheriff. So if I want to do that, then I have to pay 1 gold for every wanted I have circled in my inventory. And then I can ignore that wanted. It doesn't go away, I don't erase it. I gotta go to like church for that, basically. But I can, get away with having it ignored for the round. But I don't want to spend my gold like that. Forget that. That sheriff can bite me, and I might regret it. All right, so I've got 3 wanted. That means that I really hope this card is not an ace or a 2. Let's flip it and find out. Oh, damn it. It was an ace. Okay, so I got in trouble with the law. Now I have to pay the consequences. So here's what will happen. The sheriff is going to force me to pay either $10 or 4 points because I got busted. So I do have to pay $10. So I took that huge bonus. I was going to do so much with it. But no. I lost so much money. Boo. At least I had it to spend, because if I didn't, I would have to lose points, and that's really, really bad. And then the penalties go up per round. And unfortunately, I just keep my wanted. It's not going anywhere. So let's hope that I do a little bit better next time in terms of my relationship with the law. And that is 1 round of Fliptown. As you can see, it does a whole lot with cards. It's a pretty good time. And this is just the base solo version of it. So basically, if you want to spice the game up a bit, there's a couple things that you can add in. One thing you could add is these character cards that give you a special ability. So if you just want to like play with one, it's really enjoyable both when you're playing with somebody else and, if you just want to like have a special power for your solo game. These do make your scores go up a little bit because you start with an advantage. So, if you're keeping score game to game, if you take a power, consider it differently. But these are really fun. They're just enjoyable. And there's also one more thing you could add to the game, and these are the cowbots. So you can just play against 1 cowbot at a time. But basically the way it works is that when you're playing against a cowbot, they get a special effect when the suit that's on their card shows up when you draw cards. So this one, if you gain any gold this turn, Bart will steal a card, which is not good. But basically what these will do is they will steal cards at various points. So they then score for cards that they have stolen. And then they also score for places on the board that you didn't cross off in different areas. So for example, on easy, in both the mine and the town, any spaces that you haven't crossed off before the end of the game, the cowbot is going to get a big multiplier for. In normal, they score for your unseen locations in the mine, town, and Badlands. And in hard mode, they get you for everywhere that you didn't go. So it really forces you to try a bunch of different stuff across all of the regions of the game. And those are the cowbots if you want an additional challenge. So that is a quick overview of how to play Fliptown. Hopefully you enjoyed it, found it helpful, and it helped you make a decision about whether this game is for you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, support me on Patreon if you want to help me pay for my podcast host and other subscriptions. And most of all, happy gaming.